We have a slide up now that we're going to invite our treasurer, Greg Salton, to come forward as he's going to give a council update on what's happening in our community.
Well, good morning. I'm Greg Salton, your treasurer, and just for the record, for Husker fans, October 1st matters. Oh.
Understand that,
yes,
right?
That's a big deal. Wanted to spend a little time, give a congregational update, but thought about how do I lead into this, and really I woke up this morning and the temperature started with a 4. Now I don't know if you know about that, but fall weather at 4, at 48 degrees when I woke up this morning, that's cold. To the point I didn't run this morning. I'll run later, I promise. But the point there is the idea of we're entering into a fall season. And as I think about fall for me, growing up, I grew up on a farm, and fall meant harvest. My grandpa was a relatively intense man, ton-driven. Some would say I emulate him, right, Sarah? But when you came to harvest, it was about getting it done and all the activities that were happening there. And sometimes it required a little extra effort. Sometimes it required a few new skills. So I learned how to drive a grain cart at 10. I actually drove my first truck to town at 13. Not a good thing. And probably my favorite, he'd look at me and he'd go, tomorrow at 4 a.m., we're going to empty this bin before you go to school. So we're going to harvest all day, and then you're going to do it again when you get home. Now that's extra effort, folks. And he thought extra effort was important because it was about getting the best, getting the maximum thing that you can do out of harvest. When I think about the church, this season for us is also a harvest season. We've come back from school. We're bringing back our mission trip from our youth group. We're starting back Sunday school. We're starting back communion. We just did our splash event. We just started a new kind of harvest in our community investment fund with our first activity with Mosaic. And we're starting to talk about next year's fall. And as we think about that, I wanted to give you some information on where we're at financially as we think about going into harvest. So this is 9 a.m. Can you hit me the next slide?
Yeah, you got to turn it on.
I only have 2 slides, so I'll play it by ear.
Okay.
Okay. On the left-hand side is for everybody who loves the numbers, but I'm going to focus on the right-hand side, which is the key points. And the first one is currently today we're behind 65,000. Now I'm going to tell you folks, as treasurer, I don't think we've ever had a year where we aren't behind in August, by the end of August. I will tell you this year's a little bit bigger. So if I look at this year, we're at 65,000. Last year we were around 50, and the year before that, a little bit below that. So this one's a little bit bigger. We took some time to actually understand why we were behind 65,000. First of all, your pledge giving, if you pledge money for the year in terms of budget, those gifts are right on track. So thank you for that. Our facilities rental income is also where we thought it would be. What we're missing is actually some other giving. So giving that people give out of generosity for other different types of things, or they might have people coming in and giving that money. That's a little bit off. And personally, that probably won't come back to us in the remaining of the year because that's not something that people have chosen to pledge. Expense-wise, we're actually managed to a lower level, so our expenses are below what we thought they would be, and we're managing because of the money that we have. But I want to focus on other giving and how do we give it back up. And the question we asked our council, okay, the next slide here, was what do you want to do? And the first one resounding was we want to continue with our mission. We want to finish the harvest. We want to continue to do the things that we're willing to do and to continue to grow the ministry of this church and serve the people in this community. To do that, we're asking you, would you consider a little extra effort? Now, I'm not asking you to get up at 4 a.m., but from a goal standpoint, we're looking for an additional $30,000 over the next 30 days. And we'd ask you to consider, would you consider an extra effort to keep us moving forward in our mission? Now, somebody must have been convincing last night because I went home and logged in and did mine right away. And when you log in, you're going to see there's a Ministry in Motion button where you can fill it in. Or if you do a different donation, just mark that. That gives us some transparency on this is above and beyond your normal giving and helps us plan as a council. I know it's a lot to ask because you've done your part, right? But I guess my grandpa would look at me and said, and can you be willing to give a little more? Thank you for what you've given and thank you for considering what you would give in the future. Thank you.